SimFarm, first released in 1993 for MS-DOS, and then later released in 1996 for Microsoft Windows. It was designed by Eric Albers of Leaping Lizard Software, and was affectionately known as SimCity's Contra Cousin.
Like with most early Maxis games, there was no form of copy protection. You don't need the disc to play it. In fact, you can just copy the game off the disc without installing it to play. I do have a bit of a rant with the installer though. After the game places the desktop icons, the installation complete appears underneath the other window. That's really dumb. Once the installer is finished, you get the SimFarm Auto Run menu. What's really stupid is that they put a goodies button and it actually does nothing.
What the frick? Why put a goodies button if there's no goodies?
You know, the fake goodies button kind of reminds me of how in Google Chrome there's an option to clear history on exit when it doesn't actually do that. Unfortunately, Chrome doesn't work in Windows 98. What's funny is that I can't even download it. The way that Google programmed the website has some weird dependencies to launch the download prompt. Of course we can get around that, but the 64-bit installer won't work on a 32-bit operating system that's been forked on top of MS-DOS. But all of that is getting a little carried away, so let's just go ahead and play SimFarm.
Maxis presents SimFarm!
By the way, that cow's name is Maxine.
Okay, the game doesn't have chickens, but if you're gonna mimic a cow, then it's obligatory to mimic a chicken.
This is the main menu, or at least the only thing SimFarm has like it, where you choose a region to start in. Climate conditions are loosely based around the United States, and there is no option to play as a different country.
So according to SimFarm, only the United States exists and no other countries.
The Design Your Own Region option allows custom variables to be specified like the rainfall, temperature, and wind speed, along with having a lake and/or river. However, the map isn't completely randomly generated. Each major terrain, which is only affected by the rainfall, has a set template in which a few things are randomized on top of. I'm choosing one where the farm and town are in relative close proximity to one another.
Holy fudge cakes. Everything's a cluster nugget.
Let's just try to dissect this. First of all, I don't think multiple windows should be plastered everywhere, or floaties as I like to call them. The toolbar could be moved to the far left as to not leave so much dead space, and the minimap could be redesigned smaller to work better with the main playfield. Since it's not 1994 anymore, we can actually set a resolution of 1920 by 1440 in Windows 98. Once that's done, we can just get back into SimFarm, rearrange all the windows so they're not overlapping, and increase the playfield so we can...
Error has occurred in your program. To keep working, click ignore and save your work in a new file. Okay, then we'll just click ignore. It's not going to recover, is it? It's like it's still drawing blocks every time you click ignore. Yep, there it is. So we'll just play without the minimap and switch it back to 640 by 480.
You may think readjusting the interface windows is painful, but it's actually navigating on the playfield. Without the minimap, you're stuck with using the scroll bars, and arrow keys don't even work. What a piece of junk. Okay, let's cover the basics of the game. There's a town nearby which is like a miniature SimCity simulation, and you can build roads around it. The city does grow over time with your farm. You start out with a fenced farm area along with your homestead, which can be upgraded over time as well. Buying and selling is accomplished by the menu at top. You can take out loans if needed, and all of the rest is mainly boring statistics. You can remove any object with the bulldozer, except roads and buildings owned by the city. There is a slight problem with the audio buffer, and that is if you overload it with too many sounds, it'll keep having to play the full cue before it lets you get back to playing the game regularly. But on a serious note, you will want to turn off the sound because, again, the buffer will halt the game until the sound is finished playing before proceeding to the next action, which means placing any object becomes very irritating and time-consuming, especially roads. Getting the farm started, you'll want to buy a tractor, a harvester, a plow, and a trailer. It's a little known secret that typically strawberries are the best crop to grow since they tend to be worth the most in any given situation. So you'll definitely want some strawberry farms. Sheds will be required so your equipment doesn't rust and also to store things like fertilizer. Later on in the game, as things become more complex, you can actually automate all the tasks required to keep the farms operating successfully. But just take a look at the scheduler. I don't even know what I'm looking at. Livestock need to be fenced in and also be supplied with food and water. If they aren't nourished, they'll actually break through fences and wreak havoc on the farms. Occasionally, the mayor will vote on what to build next. It's probably in the best interest for you to choose an airport, however, the voting is really decided by the computer. With an airport, you can get a crop duster. It won't work unless the town has an airport.
Are you tired of Windows 10 telemetry, customer experience improvement program, forced updates, and advertisements sent directly to your operating system?
Yeah.
Well, introducing Microsoft Windows 98 2nd Edition. Windows 98 features no advertisements, offline activation with product keys that work indefinitely, integrated MS-DOS so you can browse the internet and play DOS games at the same time, 3D Effects Glide for the latest games with the fastest API in the industry.
Whoa!
Get your copy today! While supplies last.
I think at this point we should probably just launch one of the regions with a pre-made farm to get more to start out with. That'll make the game's convolutions a bit easier to deal with.
Oh. Farmer Jimbo Bob, what's wrong with your face?
Jimbo Bob looks like he had an accident. In fact, I think I might know exactly what happened.
It was the year 1983. Jimbo Bob leaned in too much to the grain thresher and fell in. His face and his mind haven't been the same since. We warned him.
Once your farm is up and running, it is possible to buy new land for more expansion. However, buying land is quite expensive and increases the amount you need to pay for taxes. If you run out of money, you'll have equipment which will be sold forcefully to compensate for it. Of course, Jimbo Bob sort of looks like Gary Busey when he gives the thumbs up. SimFarm is a very slow-paced game, and the way the finances are balanced will result in a time-consuming endeavor to get anywhere. I think this may be due to the playfield being rather small in comparison to other Maxis titles, so it follows the classic principle: if your playfield is too small, just make the game more difficult. Also, the sheer amount of time it takes to figure out the scheduler, variables that aren't readily specified like how many bushes should be placed in proximity of a farm to protect against excessive wind, not to mention the difficult interface, just spoils the fun before you can really get anywhere. Video games shouldn't be a chore, and that's what SimFarm feels like, and I think that's typically why it's one of the lesser played of the Sim series. It's now time for
Cownado!
So what you do is get a pen and purchase as many cows as you can. You'll need to take out a loan too. Then you trigger a tornado to rip through the whole cow field. I never really played SimFarm seriously as a kid, so I usually just ended up doing stuff like this instead. So yeah, the tornado will rip through the pen, inhaling some cows, but doesn't do as much damage as you'd think. It actually never affects the homestead since I guess it's an impervious building. If you're one of the weird people, like me, who wasted their time to read all through the credit screens, the second last one has this peculiar message on it. Eric's Babes, huh? You know what? I can just picture it now.
Hey babe, you ever heard of SimFarm? Well, I made that game.
I decided to look at the DOS version of SimFarm, which I didn't know existed until I started making this review. Well, there's a few revelations. First, it supports a broader palette. For some reason, the Windows one is limited to 16 colors. The sound buffer problem is non-existent, and moving the cursor to the edge of the screen actually scrolls. I guess my childhood SimFarm experience was a lie this whole time.
Well, that concludes everything I wanted to say about SimFarm. I actually got this shirt from Value Village, and it kind of smells weird, so I'm just gonna go take it off. Yeah.
And as always, if you like that, feel free to check out my other videos.